So, according to various reports, Gary Patterson is now working with the Texas Longhorns, a move that we've talked about before, that we've expected to come down for quite some time. But now that reports are coming out that it looks to be true, we need to talk about why this is such a big deal for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. So hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes and for no. Are you excited about the prospect of Gary Patterson at the Texas Longhorns? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, because I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy the content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are massive for content creators such as myself in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, we need to hop right into this because this is a really unique position that the Texas Longhorns now find themselves in. A name such as Gary Patterson is a name that would raise eyebrows because of the allure to Gary Patterson's name, what he means in defensive circles in college football, and we're going to get to all that. But being able to get a guy like that as special assistant to the head coach is a massive win. And even though there's an office joke to be made somewhere through there, and I'm sure of it, we need to focus today on why this is so unique for the Longhorns. It's not every day you get a guy that is considered a defensive mastermind to come into your program, and especially someone that's been so synonymous with the 4-2-5 nickel defense. And Gary Patterson has been working on his 4-2-5 nickel defense for quite some time, beginning with his time at UC Davis to his time at Utah State, New Mexico State, you name it. He's taken and formulated this defense for years on years on years, and he's found massive success with it. It's a difficult defense to learn, but one that is incredibly effective. Gary Patterson's 4-2-5 combines multiple different styles and abilities to be able to confuse offenses, from having the front having completely different calls from the back end. That way the offense cannot key in on one thing and think they've had the whole defense figured out. Those type of multiple looks really create chaos. And so being able to get in a guy like that, who, by the way, is TCU's winningest coach ever, being able to get in a guy like that, not as defensive coordinator, but special assistant to the head coach, is a really unique thing. We don't see it every day. I mean, Gary Patterson's one of the guys when we're talking about the nickel defense that you have got to bring up his name. And I have had the great fortune of knowing some TCU players that played at TCU at a very high level that have been able to talk to me about that defense, to be able to try and break it down as much as they could to someone like myself. And it's really interesting hearing how the defense is formulated, all the ins and outs, the intricacies to it. It was a really awesome time getting to listen to that. But I came away thinking, and after hearing them talk about this, that this is a guy that is deeply, deeply concerned with the details in Gary Patterson. And so now let's talk about specifically what this means for Texas. You know, we've talked about how Gary Patterson provides them these unique opportunities because of his formulation of the 4-2-5 nickel defense in his own way, the way he runs it in multiple styles, how the front end and back end could be completely different. We've talked about all that, how he's the winningest head coach. But for Texas, Gary Patterson now offers them someone with a relentless eye for detail in every area of the game, whether it be recruiting, whether it be preparation, and getting in a guy like that whose whole name of the game is, even though I'm not 100% certain the ins and outs of his job, in terms of like recruiting. Gary Patterson has got an eye for talent, but now when you give him the resources the Texas Longhorns have, that's where this gets very intriguing, because before at TCU doesn't have the resources to be able to compete with Texas in terms of recruiting. And I'm a big fan of TCU. It's right down the road from where I'm filming this video right now. I think this is going to be something we have got to keep up with, because I think this could be a move that pays massive dividends for the Texas Longhorns. And because of that, I'm very interested in hearing from Texas fans. Gary Patterson has had a long history in college football, And now for the Longhorns to be in a position to where they can get him in to be special assistant to the head coach as they are trying to do a rebuild is a huge win for Steve Sarkisian and company in every way, in every facet. Very interested in hearing from Longhorns fans. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this move, because I think this is a great move. That's it. See ya.